Okay, moving on to number 4, discussion on a recommendation of the DPW Committee regarding the purchase of a truck and consider an appropriate motion for action. I will briefly just dive into this. I happened to be at the last couple of DPW Committee meetings, and this has been a need for the committee. This has been budgeted. Everything has been set for this to happen. Rick has been waiting for these to come to the board for approval so he can actually purchase these and get them in his possession. The DPW Committee approved it unanimously to move forward with it. I do not know if there will be any questions or concerns, but I will just squash the first one about the price. We are going with the one that is roughly $3,800 more, and I will tell you why, because I think it's important that people know. It is the only one that Rick can go tomorrow with that check and start using on Wednesday. Every other one will be ordered, and those prices that are listed in your packet are not confirmed prices due to a phrase we're using these days called tariffs, and or when they could be delivered. At the meeting, it was brought to our attention by Rick that some of them could be 3 months, 6 months, all the way up to 18 months. So the DPW Committee, like I said, passed unanimously, willing to spend the extra $3,806, I did the math, to get that truck in his possession as early as he can get there and get it done. And on top of it, it is as local as we could get here at Lynch. So as you can see, every other one on there was not overly local. So I just wanted to put that out there. I don't know if Rick has anything he wants to add. This has again been budgeted for and been planned all along, so just looking for approval here tonight.
Make a motion to approve the purchase of the truck.
Second?
Second.
Any other questions, comments?
I do have a question. Is this an addition to your fleet or a replacement?
Yeah, it's an addition. It's gonna replace, in theory, our 2005, which has still a pretty decent lift gate on it that we're planning on repurposing onto another used truck that we have. And then mounting it with a flatbed and retool it to be like a asphalt truck, so we don't have to keep switching equipment every day. So we're gonna continue to keep the 2005 in service as long as the motor's good, the training's good, it's just the box on it's falling
Repurposing
apart.
it to another, that's awesome.
Yeah,
And what will be needed with the new hire and the part-time hire that is coming on board.
right.
Any other comments or questions? All right, there's a first and a second, I believe. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Passes. All right, moving on to the next one, discussion on a recommendation of the DPW Committee regarding the purchase of an asphalt paving machine. Consider an appropriate motion for action. I don't have the extensive knowledge on this, I just know that this was also budgeted for and in the works. Again, Rick has been waiting for it to get to this point to be approved. I had learned and spent time with Rick, and he educated me on the process that having this in-house will be a major benefit to getting the projects done locally by our DPW crew. And we will not be contracting and spending money out on contractors and waiting for their schedule. This will be something that we can get done quicker in our community.
Yeah, so where we have been working from an administrative management standpoint is looking at the resources that you're inputting into your streets. And so if a resident asks you, how much money would we have to put into our roads each and every year to keep them in the exact same bad condition they're in, which is like a roughly 5.4 PACER rating, I'm going from memory, average rating across all your roadways. So this doesn't improve the overall condition of your roadways, just to keep them the same 5.4 rating that they are, just moving the problems around. The answer is something like $2.2 million. So you would need to put $2.2 million a year, every single year, into your roads to keep them in the same bad condition they're in. Doesn't get them better, just moves the problem around. How much money are you putting into your roads every year? The answer is about $500,000, a little better than that. Okay, so what does that tell you? It tells you that over time, your PACER rating on average is going to continue to decline. What are your options? Option number one, you can consider at referendum a 100% tax increase from where you're at. That's roughly the dollar amount that you're bringing in right now for your general levy. And you can place that 100% tax increase in everybody's tax bill to keep the roads in the same bad condition that they're in. I don't think that'll be very popular. The other option that you have is to do what you've been doing, which is the roads will just continue to get worse over time because you're not inputting the funds necessary to maintain them. Option number 3, you need some out-of-the-box thinking. And that means that you're going to have to look at how you're doing road repair. The way you have done that almost exclusively from time immemorial is to hire a contractor. Contractors are taxable, so they pay income taxes, they pay property taxes, they pay personal property taxes in the state of Wisconsin or from wherever they come from. By doing work in-house, which is what communities had to do in the 30s and the 40s, you don't pay personal property tax on your assets. You don't pay property tax on the buildings and resources that your DPW uses, and you don't pay federal income tax on any markup that is made via a profit motive on the money that we would expend in the DPW. Moreover, you get to borrow money at tax-exempt borrowing rates. Every private contractor that you work with that has to go to a bank, they have to pay taxable interest rates. And so you're in turn paying for all of that markup all the way around. There's a reason why in the 30s and the 40s, communities all across the United States began to in-house, largely due to inflation, their street repair work. It's why the county has the vast street department it does, because eventually you get to a point of economy of scale that there are some things that you're not gonna buy. You're not gonna buy a $2 million polarization machine for your roadways. We're gonna hire a contractor out to do that. But for all the smaller repair stuff that can be done in-house, we should be moving towards doing that in-house up to and including full width pavement after we've hired that contractor out. We are years away from being able to do that level of work. But what we began 2 years ago with the acquisition of a hot box is being able to do pothole patching with hot mix. That's a big improvement over cold mix that kind of bumps out and goes away after a short period of time. This is the next step. Well, I guess the next step was doing fog sealing and chip sealing of some of the roadways and some of the microdot seal stuff that we worked on kind of as experiment up on Kramer and Cornerstone Crossing when we did that work. So now we're getting 2 more pieces of equipment that we'll be able to use in concert with that hot box. So it's this paving machine. If you look at roadway surfacing and really where it goes bad, anytime you've been over a roadway and there are the dips that come along in the roadway, those are where we've had to go cut trenches in either because a pipe broke or somebody needed to connect a lateral to it, and that part of the roadway just turns to crud. This machine will allow us, along with the milling machine, to trench everything out and fix it. Okay.
It looks like you can pour concrete through it too and screed concrete.
I think you probably
You
could,
can do both.
yeah, or even for shouldering, you can shoulder with it.
No kidding.
Um,
Gravel shouldering. That thing looks pretty cool. I like it.
Yeah, it goes on the front of the skid steer and pushes it along.
And you're you're driving backwards, yeah?
No, forward. Just like a paver. Our size dump trucks will be able to dump into it. And then
How does it work if you're going forward? You're driving over the pavement.
it's off to the side.
It's offset?
Yeah, it's all set.
Oh, it's not the one where both booms
No.
come out? Oh,
No,
Yeah.
it only goes one way.
it's the
Your brochure
LT
had it.
181, the
Uh,
one-sided
it's-
one?
It's the MG7.
Oh.
The one that you just referenced, I don't have the whole thing. in front of me, but
MG6?
Yeah, that one you would hook to like a mini X
Yeah.
and for doing like paths through.
Yep, and then somebody's gotta reach over and fill the box.
No, you spin around, you grab out of truck
Behind.
and you fill the box and then you drag it backwards.
Oh,
and you
god,
spin
because
around
you
and
drag
fill
them.
it.
I've seen them used
Yeah.
and they're always dragging them backwards.
Yeah, yeah.
Cool.
No, this one gets pushed. It goes, I believe, down to 11-inch. Might even be narrower than that, and then out to 6 foot.
So it's like a mini Gomako. Yeah, alright.
But this would be more for road repairs than road resurfacing.
This is to do the trenches for the most part, or big patch areas. We're not gonna go do a whole road surface with this.
Do we have a
This is
scarifier?
step by step by step.
A what?
A scarifier? Do we have a grinder?
You got a milling machine.
A mill that does up
You
to
have a mill,
18
right.
inches, yeah.
All right. Any more discussion on the This
It's exciting to me
I know
about
it
this
does.
kind of stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'll
it's
make a
cool.
motion to approve the purchases in the budget.
I'll second it.
Alright, first and a second, any other discussion or comments, question? Alright, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Alright, that passes. Moving on to,